Hi VC, this is Bev here, Clarkovision, and this is my contest entry for Black Star Vinyl. Rob over at Black Star Vinyl is having a contest and he's calling it nearly 400 or almost 400 subs, nearly 400 subs I think it is, because he's at about 397 I think. And he's just launched this, and since my video replies are starting to build up, I'm going to get it out the way, and then I'm going to do another one, and then I'm hoping to get another couple done tomorrow that I want to respond to. We shall see how it goes. But yeah, this afternoon I just thought I'll have a wee dig around and get things organised for these contests. So Rob, if you don't know Rob at Black Star Vinyl, then you'll need to, I will leave a link below to his channel, and I highly recommend you subscribe because he is a fantastic guy, really down to earth. He has an amazing collection of stuff. He's primarily vinyl, but he will collect CDs if he can't get it on vinyl. And his main musical favourite genres are a lot of the kind of 80s hard rock and metal, the hair metal, a bit of thrash, some blues rock even. He likes a lot of the kind of female fronted power metal bands, quite a few from the Europe, I believe, you know, German bands, Swedish bands, etc. He likes a bit of everything, really, and he's a super nice guy, and he's very funny at times as well. You know, I think everybody's got their own kind of character, and his comes through just like other people's. So please subscribe to Rob if you haven't done that already, because you're missing out on a lot of fun and a lot of cool vinyl that he shows. So he has the contest up, and he's asked 4 main questions, because it's nearly 400. The number 4 is the kind of key number here. 4 main questions, and there's a bonus question. And I've got notes here so I don't forget, because my brain's quite good at drawing blanks when I don't want it to. So the first question is to tell us about 4 grails that you have on your wants list. I can't actually show them because I don't have them, and I meant to actually bring them up, but I have got CDs of a couple of them, but anyway, I forgot to get them out, so I'll just tell you what they are. So grail number 1 that I really am after is an original 1989 pressing of Running Wild's Death or Glory on the Noise International label. I do have the remastered deluxe CD version over there, and I do have the remastered vinyl, which is gatefold edition with 2 records and a few bonus tracks, but I want an original of that as well. It's fairly difficult to get in the UK. You can get it, but it's pretty tricky to find a nice copy at a decent price. They can run to around, I don't know, £40 roughly. So that's number 1. Number 2 grail is even more expensive, I believe, but it's the 12-inch maxi single of Running Wild's Bad to the Bone, which is off Death or Glory. It's off that album. So that was released in '89 as well, and it's very difficult to get a hold of. So I'm after the 12-inch maxi of that. Grail number 3 is the Swiss band Gotthard. I've mentioned them a couple of times Great hard rock band, solid melodic rock. I'm after a copy of their debut album, which was self-titled Gotthard. That came out in 1992. I believe it has 3 different covers, well, same cover but in 3 different colourings. There's a red cover, a blue cover and a green cover, I think. And it's on the Areola label, I believe. So I'm after a copy of that, and of course because it's a 90s release, again it's trickier to get a hold of. Plus I don't think that was distributed everywhere in the world either. So, and Grail number 4, which I'm probably never ever going to own because it's too expensive. But Grail number 4 is the Def Leppard EP original red label pressing from 1979 with the original picture sleeve of the leopard and the gramophone and the lyric sheet that was put in with it at the time. There was only 1,000 of these around. As a bonus, it would be great if it was signed, but you're talking thousands. I think you're talking hundreds and thousands anyway to get that, but so that would be Grail number 4, but I think it's just gonna, unless I win the lottery, I don't think I'll see that one. But so that's the 4 Grails. Question 2. List 4 favourite concerts or live shows that you've been to. This for me is probably the hardest question out of the lot, because there's about 4 or 5 concerts I've been to over the course of my life, but the last one I was at, I think, was as recent as 1996, actually. Yeah, I've not been to a live concert in a long, long time, actually. But I've got 4 I can mention. I wouldn't necessarily say they were favourites, it's just 4 that I can think of, that I can remember. The very first one I went to was Belinda Carlisle. The first ever live concert was Belinda Carlisle, and it was her Heaven on Earth tour supporting this album. So that was 1988. And I was about 11. My dad took me and my cousin and my friend from school, and it was really quite an amazing experience. It was the first live concert I'd ever been to at my local venue, you know, in my hometown. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Memories are a little bit hazy now just because of the time. It was a long time ago. So that was the first one I went to. Then I'm thinking around about 1991, I'm pretty sure it'd be 91 or 92, maybe 92, I'm not 100%, but it was either 91 or 92, I saw a band, Runrig. Now they're a Scottish band, they're kind of Celtic rock. They do some of their songs in English and some of their songs in the Scottish Gaelic, but they were really big at this point in their career. And I saw them on the tour, the Big Wheel tour. This is the Big Wheel, this album. And again, I saw them at the same venue as Belinda Carlisle. And Runrig were great. You know, they're an absolutely fantastic live band. I preferred some of their stuff live to some of their stuff on record, actually, but really great Scottish band. The thing about that is it was at a strange time for me. 91 and 92 weren't particularly happy years for me, but I did enjoy the concert, but my general feelings towards music were beginning to change at that moment. So, but anyway, that's another one. Third one I can recall, I've seen, this is my mum's idol actually, Cliff Richard. I've seen this guy twice. I saw him once in Edinburgh and once in Sheffield. It's because we happened to be going to Sheffield for a couple of reasons. This happened to be one, and I was meeting friends, I think, who had come over from America, and they were coming up from London to meet us or something like that. And so we combined the two things together, I think, for the Sheffield show. When I saw Cliff Richard, I think it would be in this century, it would be in the 2000s. I never saw him back in his heyday, which probably would have been kind of cool, actually, in the 70s or 80s. But all in all, it was okay. It wasn't, by no means it's the favourite gig I've ever been to, but it was fine. He played some of his classics, he played some newer stuff which I'm not so familiar with. And gig number 4, and the last one, I'm sure this is the last one because I just can't think of anyone that came after that. Bon Jovi, and it was the These Days tour in 1996 supporting this album. I saw them live in Glasgow. We got great seats. We were in the main stand facing the stage, but right at the front row of the upper tier, so we had a great view down. And that was a great concert. Obviously, rock band, compared to the others that I've mentioned, proper kind of hard rock band. And it was the original band, apart from the guy Huey, who was the bass player. The other 4 guys were the original. I remember it was Richie Sambora's birthday on the day he played. I think it was it the 12th of July, I think, 96. And of course they played a whole range of their catalogue, some of their classics, obviously, and some tracks from this album, These Days, which I do quite like. I do like that album. And what I remember about that show towards the end was when it came to encore time, they hadn't played Living on a Prayer at this point, and there was they'd gone off the stage and the crowd was, and they must have been deliberately taking their time, and it seemed to go on for what was a long time, and so some of the crowd thought, oh, they're not coming back, that's it, finished. So some people actually started to leave. And then we waited, and I says, no, just wait, because they must play this song. And right enough, they came out, and Living on a Prayer, they finished it with that song, obviously, and everybody knows that song, but it was just such a good, enjoyable experience. So that's the 4 concerts. To be honest, that's the only 4 I can really think of. But for me, nowadays, I might as well just say this now, concerts are something I rarely go to now. Primary reason, well, there's 2 reasons, but one is the price. I think tickets are outrageously priced these days, and I will not pay the money that some people are asking for them, the ticket vendors or whoever, or the band or whoever it is. And the other big reason is I developed, I went through a period of depression in the 90s, clinical depression, and then I came out of that, and then after that it was anxiety, and I have since suffered on and off throughout my life bouts of chronic anxiety, and I find it very hard to go to places like concert venues where there are big crowds, a lot of noise, where things are busy, even if it generates a bit of excitement, the anxiety tends to take over quite a lot for me, unfortunately, in these cases. So, for example, I would have loved to have seen Iron Maiden on the last 2 tours that they've been. They've been to Glasgow, which is it's about an hour away from Edinburgh. And for me, even if they came to Edinburgh, which I really wish they would, because all these bands, these big massive rock and metal bands, they all came to Edinburgh back in the day. All of them. We've had Led Zeppelin here, we've had Maiden, we've had Judas Priest, we've had Black Sabbath, we've had Def Leppard, we've had everybody here in the past. But for some reason, they just don't come here anymore. But that's another matter. But for me, if Iron Maiden, for example, came to Edinburgh, now I would so love to go and see them, but the chances of me actually seeing them, I don't know if I would. Even, knowing I could come straight home after it, I just don't know if I could get to the show and go through it, just purely down to anxiety issues, which is it's a bit of a, it disappoints me, but to be honest with you, it's just something that I have to deal with. It really depends on how I'm feeling, and having suffered what I've suffered, certain experiences in the past, I will not put myself in a situation where I know could provoke severe anxiety, because it's a feeling that I wouldn't wish on anybody. So that's that. So that's, basically why I haven't been to a concert in a long time. Whether I get to another is a good question. Even though I'd love to see Maiden, I'd love to see Priest. I have no desire to see Def Leppard. Four favourite concerts that I would have loved to have been would be Def Leppard in the 80s with Steve. I would love to see Iron Maiden, that would be another favourite. I would love to see Running Wild, and I'd love to see Pretty Maids. I would love to see those bands, but hey ho, Bonfire's another one I would love to see. They would be amazing. So it is how it is. So that's that question. Number 3, give some shout outs to 4 other VC channels that you think need a bit of support, or approaching a milestone number of subscribers or something like that, I think. So I've got 4 I've listed here. Bernard Jean, he is fairly new, but he's got a great channel. He does brilliant videos. He's French Canadian, I believe. I think I'm not sure, but it might be Montreal he's from. And what I've seen so far, he has a great collection, and he's got a great interest in AOR. He's a huge Boston fan. Other AOR type bands, hard rock, melodic rock. He likes a lot of bands that some of us rock and metal people are into as well. So that's Bernard Jean. He's currently got about 52 subscribers. Really comes over really nice. Next one up is Miss Lady Soul. Again, she's another one. I think she's been on the VC for a while, but she's new to me. I only discovered her channel a few weeks back, maybe about a month ago now, and again, I'm sure she's French Canadian as well, funnily enough. But she's a lovely lady. Eve's her name. She again has a fascinating collection of vinyl, and she's got CDs as well. She's into, as you might know by her channel title, a bit of soul, kind of that sort of stuff. She likes a lot of female singers as well, but she's also swinging into or exploring more the progressive rock scene, and she's into a few bands. She just recently picked up King Crimson, Black Sabbath, maybe. I could be wrong mentioning Black Sabbath, but she's another couple of kind of big names from the prog rock scene, well-known names. But I highly recommend you check her out. She's just gone over the 100 subs when I last looked. She's got 113, but really nice lady, and I think she deserves support as well. Person 3 is, or channel 3, is a chap called Randall Weaver. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know too much about Randall at the moment, but I think he's fairly new to the VC, and he has 87 subscribers currently at my last count. Randall subscribed to me fairly recently, which was great, so I am subscribing back. I've just not had a chance to check out his channel properly yet, so like myself, I'm going to be checking it out. Randall Weaver's another one you can have a look at, and person 4, again similar to Randall in that I'm not too familiar with his channel yet, but Raul Serrano, kind of Spanish sounding name. I think he's from the States, but I apologise if I've got that wrong. He has about 77 subscribers, and again I've just not had much of a chance to explore much about his channel, but I think he's into the rock and metal and maybe more of the extreme metal side of things as well. I think he plays guitar as well from what I've seen in his list of videos, but looks a really interesting channel, and he could also do with some support, so I'll put a link to these 4 channels below as well, so that you easily go and have a look. And question 4, yeah, the superheroes. If you could be a superhero, who would you be and why? Well, a bit like Rob, I'm not massively into the superhero thing. I don't collect the comics. I don't subscribe to every movie that ever gets released. There is one superhero I've been a fan of all my life, and yet there's other superheroes that I really can't be bothered with. For me, it just seems that there's a comparison thing. The rest of the superheroes are very inferior compared to this superhero, in my eyes. But for me, it would be Superman. Just, Superman, because Superman, he looks the part. He's got super strength, he can, as you've seen in the films, he can hold up helicopters with one hand and, stop trains from crashing down over a broken railway bridge and all the rest of it. He's got X-ray vision, he's got these kind of laser things that come out his eyes, he can fly, which is a cool thing. He's super strong, and I was always a fan of the Christopher Reeve films, the original ones, and his beautiful blue eyes. So yeah, Superman, I'm just going to go with Superman. I wouldn't mind playing at Superman for a day, I'm sure. So, it just sounds like a really cool thing to be able to do everything that you did. And yeah, the old changing from Clark Kent into Superman in a phone box in 2 seconds flat was always a cool thing. Yeah. So, last but not least, the bonus question from Rob was, show 4 autographs that you have. Okay. I could have shown 4 from the same person or band, but I've mixed up a little bit. So number 1, Bruce Dickinson. This was the first pressing of this book, which came out with the black ink pages, black edged pages, and there, his autograph right there on the book, signed by the man himself. I was going to his book launch evening because he was coming to Edinburgh, and I had tickets, and I was going, and while standing in the queue waiting to go in, I took a panic attack, and the friend I was with went, and she took my ticket so she could get my book for me, because the book was included in the ticket, and I had to go home. So, you know, again, that was the anxiety thing, but so I was really disappointed, but loving the book. It's a good book, good read, and Bruce Dickinson, he's one of my heroes. Speaking of heroes, let me just see. So, here we are. Def Leppard High and Dry album. I've got the inner sleeve. I'll take it out with this because I've kept the inner sleeve just separate on its own because it is autographed by the whole band. This was autographed in '88, not '81, because it says Best Wishes Joe Elliott, and it's got Def Leppard 1988. Joe Elliott, Rick Allen, and on this side there is the main signature, Steve Clark, Rick Savage, and Phil Collen, not Pete Willis, although I do have a Pete Willis autograph in my memorabilia as well. But to me, this is one of my favourites, and the black marker pen, it's the real deal. I'm so thrilled to just have that. So it's the inner sleeve of, it's an original pressing, it's a UK pressing High and Dry, notably with the black title. Some of them came out with High and Dry in red. Autograph number 3 is the 12-inch of Def Leppard's Rock of Ages single. This is signed by 3 of the band members, but the most important one is there, Steve Clark. That's Steve's autograph there. Joe Elliott, which is that way round, and Phil Collen there. So yeah, again, thrilled to get hold of that. An absolute prized possession to have. I mean, do you know what these things mean? The man himself has handled this, and he's had his hand up against this. He's wrote that himself. It's just amazing. Yeah, so that's 2 with Steve and company. And the 4th one I'm going to show is my football hero, actually. This is a, I don't know if this is like a 16 by 12 or something. It's a large, glossy photograph of, this is Dennis Bergkamp. He's a Dutch international footballer. He's now retired from playing, but I think at the moment he's working with, or he's part of the coaching team at Ajax Amsterdam. I think that's where he is at the moment. But he was a legend for Arsenal. This is him in Arsenal's kit on the Highbury final salute season, in the last season at Highbury Stadium before they moved to their new one at Ashburton Grove, and he has signed this himself. He's Dennis Bergkamp in the number 10 because he wore the number 10 jersey. Yeah, so yeah, this is real football America. This is proper football. The feet here and that foot there, and this is a ball, it's a sphere. I always like to have a wee dig at my American pals about their American football thing. But anyway, so that's the 4 autographs. So Rob, this is another ridiculous babbling session of mine. I hope you made it to the end. Congrats on 400 subs. You're going to go past it anyway. Keep doing your videos because I enjoy watching them. You show loads of interesting bands. I've got so many written down to check out. I've got a list. And I'm glad that you are feeling a bit better because you looked a lot better in your last video. So hopefully you're rid of that cold and flu thing that you had. Right, everybody. Bye the now. Cheers.